Hello and welcome to Imp's Adventures podcast on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Help the network out by leaving us a 5-star review, give a donation directly through Red Circle, and become one of the amazing community by joining the Social Suplex Discord. A link is in the description. Read the Social Suplex newsletter, shout out to Trish and Tim as always, and to every person who's contributed so far, and the news posted on Social Suplex. Listen to the other top-notch shows here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network: One Nation Radio, Keeping It Strong Style, All Things Elite, Wrestling Art with Chris Things, Trish and Sarah, Tunnel Talk, Sam Brown's AEW Match Guide, and Joshing Around. My name is Matt Maher, aka Imp, and this is your quick look back at the AEW week that was. 30 minutes of a show that will end up getting posted on May the 4th, so Star Wars and all that. That's it, right? Yeah, Star Wars, Meow, lightsabers, Buzz. Not a Star Wars guy. Because I'm a wrestling guy, and here in AEW we got a really strong week of wrestling. It's one of those weeks where it felt like the character build-up was strong, the overall pacing of the shows was strong. Collision was one of those almost back to basics, putting on a strong wrestling card rather than overthinking how to do anything. Really feeling like a week that has built a really strong consistency, the type of building block that you can take forward into your weeks going forward. Like, I watch this and I'm like, I just don't have that much to complain about right now. Sure, maybe the biggest thing here is a severe lack of Chris Jericho somewhat means that I've my one rant where I was like, I could kind of just feel the alarm bells ringing. Yeah, it's not a thing this week. Not a thing. The focus on the young uns, the focus on Kevin Knight, the focus on Darby Allin's title reign. Sure, a few times in my notes I've written Bordy rather than Brody. That's a me critique. That's not a show critique. That's the best thing I've got here. That's the best thing I've got. Maybe I'd have to do a couple of retakes on certain things, because maybe even during my thing, if I'm just blindly reading out my note at one point, calling him Brody King. But this week we're in Virginia and Peoria, Illinois. Literally a place I've never heard of before. AEW do this because I'm just used to the WWE towns, and they will hit the same places all the time, and they have done for decades. There's not really a town that WWE would hit that I've not heard of, but AEW, or they go to some places. They go to some places and I'm like, I'm sorry, where? What is this place? Yeah, Peoria. Peoria. I prefer Peoria. That feels a bit more extravagant, Peoria. Anyways, in Illinois, WWE's convinced me there's only Chicago in Illinois. That's it, right? That's it. Anyway, let's jump on over to Dynamite. I've not really got a lot to say. Yeah, a very consistent week. Just really enjoyable wrestling. If you've not watched them yet, watch both the shows. They're strong enough. Both main events were great, especially if you like Kevin Knight. This was a great week for Kevin Knight. I do listen to Tunnel Talk, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know what, Kevin Knight, it's like, he's not really got a character there, has he? Now, I'm very, very simple. It really is as basic as, man does jump good, I do. And I'm like, oh. He'll get his character in no time. He's still a baby. I do recommend listening to this week's Tunnel Talk to get suggestions for character. The girls and their guest Mike did an interesting job. I was going to say good job, but that didn't feel right. I'm not even sure they would agree with me if I said good job. So anyway, let's jump on over to a man talking about wrestling for a change. Anyway, TNT Championship, Kevin Knight versus MJF opened up the show. So let's do the format of this show with this good old size crowd for Darby versus Brody. And the first of my notes, it says Brody King instead of Brody, right out the gate. Good job past me. When something like that happens, that's proof that I'm just noting down stuff whilst I'm watching the show. That proves I'm engaged. If my grammar is like on point and everything's corrected, that's because I've been unengaged enough to go through and make my grammar correct. So if it's like this and it's total bullshit, that means really good show. So anyway, let's jump on over to the TNT Championship match over the show. Kevin Knight versus MJF.
The Dynamite Diamond ring. It was a diversion. Oh, the low blow. Wait a minute, that's a low blow. Inside Cradle. Hold on a second.
A cocky MJF out with a plan to prove a point against the young champion. He's had a week. He's had his week. He's prepared. There's no way MJF is going to lose. And that overconfidence is probably the reason he loses. Good laugh as Max powerbombed Knight into the barricade and grabbed the camera to film his own personal close-up of Kevin going, ah! The best camera angle always goes to Knight's springboard forearm to the outside. The cameraman took the knee in respect to get that shot. My lecturer at university said that he filmed a band once to just get the shot, and it was in the like 90s or something, so it was that low Dutch angle that was trying to make him like cool and rad, and he was like, I've got this, it's a perfect angle. And they were quite a big band at the time, so he's like, I'm not going to mess this up, it's going to be great. And it was. The shot was great. One problem, he'd sat down and leant on one knee right before the interviewer started asking the question, and he was like, fuck, I've got to stay in this position for the rest of the shoot, I can't move. This shot is perfect. I think it's something to do with the end of the story, like they finally said to end the shot, and he just out loud goes, ah, because he can't move. He's just cut all the blood off one of his legs. So anyway, my point is, cameramen, be committed. committed. They really are committed to getting that shot. And the camera for AEW at ringside every single week, but I feel like, especially this week, absolutely nailed that camera shot of just making Kevin Knight really look like he's soaring. That said, there is a way of overdoing it. And if you've ever watched the WWE segment, my recommendation, if you ever go back and watch WWE from like 2010s kind of period, don't watch the actual show. Go onto YouTube and watch somebody who's filmed there being live and just watch the cameraman. What they're doing is ludicrous. The amount of movement to get the shots that Vince wanted, it's just absolutely insane. Then you go and watch the show and it's nauseating watching all the zoom-ins back and forth, crouching up and down. Like, it's mental. It's like somebody trying to recreate the Transformers cinematography in live action. Like, just live television. It's just a crazy idea. Much prefer AEW's much more relaxed style. Anyway, twice MJF countered young Kevin with a pop-up counter. Hey, the man's found a new move and he's just really excited to show it to everybody. 39 times for Kevin off a head scissors landing told the tale for the rest of the match. The jumpy young man with his best asset wounded and got zoned in on. So you're watching this, just brace for Kevin Knight still hitting said signature jumps, just this time all followed by an Adam Cole Panama Sunrise nailed the first time, but the second time met a super kick foot to the chin. This is awesome, with the crowd invested after Knight's second UFO attempt landed with the expected me knee. Full disrespect, Max kicked in, spitting and stomping at the man's hurty leg, grabbed the title as a distraction for Ref Bryce to sneak on his diamond ring, and one hell of a reaction for the low blow from Knight and cradle pin afterwards. Angry Max chopped the leg after, put the ring on to deliver a beating, when Darby Allin descended from the ceiling to ringside like Sting, full late 90s Sting referencing as he hit the Scorpion Deathlock and sent Freeman rolling out the ring up the ramp. Both Darby and Max with mics after, give me that rematch, and just straight up telling him no, what are you going to offer? Which is just nice to see from a good guy. Often in wrestling, the villain would do what they can to amp up the good guy, and it's almost like, well, you backed me into the situation where the most heroic thing I can do is to say yes. But not here. I love this, where Max is trying his tricks, but it's not working. To be fair, it's pretty close to, I've tried nothing and I'm all out of ideas. Just shouting at him to give him the match. And every time he said, we'll offer something, Darby's answer's literally the same. It was set up like Darby read the room that Max was going to try and get the TNT Championship so he could offer that to get an AEW Championship match. But when Max didn't win it, he then went back to plan A of just give me it, please, 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 please. It's just funny. And proof that in season 1 of Community, when Jeff just tries the technique of just begging a woman to have sex rather than trying any tricks, and in the show it works, and every girl I've ever watched Community with has immediately at that point gone bullshit. Like, just like visceral reactions to that scene of tell me if you are a woman who've had a different response to it. But I love Community, and for me it's almost like a test, but every time it gets to that scene it's just been met with such a visceral reaction. I find it so funny. And here we saw it with the please give it me please. Darby just says no. He absolutely says no. Of course he would. Brody King on out with a mean stare for Max in passing, out there to bark the bad news to both the champions in the ring, woof woof growling that he's going to win the AEW Championship and he'll be the one to face Kevin Knight next week. I appreciate the effort of trying to book a big match for next week in Kevin Knight Darby, but also not wanting to ruin your main event, so you bring Brody King out to try just to make a bit like, I don't know why if Brody wins. We all know, it's fine. Like, it's fine. At least they're trying to, in the world, set up the continuity of, yeah, but what if it wasn't so blatant everybody knew? Like, blatant isn't bad. The main event was still amazing. But it's just nice. It's nice to see the effort put in, even if it didn't work. Like, it's fine. Whatever. Before the main event, MJF interrupted an Andrade backstage promo, all annoyed and now blaming someone else for Darby being champion. So Andrade just replied to everything with the, okay, but how you know? Which I completely forgot was a thing that got so over in his first run. Like, if I'm remembering it correctly, it was related to Darby Allin as well, because I think he was talking to Sting or somebody, and it was just like, it was just saying something like, I would like to buy the services of the little man. The little boy, I'll have him. He's quite good. Fully under the illusion that Sting was paying Darby Allin to be his employee or something, because that's what Andrade did with his people around him at the time. And someone was like, oh, they're friends, by the way. He's like, but how do you know? And he just got so over, and I completely forgot that was a thing. So you know what? Kudos to them for remembering that. As soon as he did it, it just immediately just a wave of AEW segments that I just completely eliminated from my brain. Anyway, speaking of side notes, let's go through a whole bunch of side notes. Tekla, she got a great promo. People keep asking me, why do I keep calling people dumb bitches? And I would love to stop calling people dumb bitches, but there are just too many dumb bitches in AEW. I love it. And the way that she delivers her lines. I love the sentiment, and I love her delivery. Also liked how Sky Blue was just sat in front of her, basically as a person trying to direct the promo at at somebody. she directs it at the boarding birds, whilst Teclis is out there ranting about everybody being dumb bitches, Sky Blue's more like, but these people in particular, of which we're building a feud with. So I quite like that. They played the Bandido Saloon area again in the aftermath of the beating up. I think it's done really well, because immediately I'm like, okay, here's another Bandido thing. They were just playing that video again, and I was like, you know what, it's a cool video, I'd play it again. But there's something else here. It's a go here again, and here's me like, oh, I watched Collision, I saw this already. Maybe they're just playing this because they are doing a big hype thing for Bandido returning. But then out walks Swerve, and he lights up the wanted poster for Bandido. Swerve is out there playing bounty hunter in the aftermath of Bandido's beating up. Love it. Great. Especially if Bandido's having problems travelling still. This did such a great job of just carrying that over and building some form of feud in such an interesting way. Like, effort was put in here. It's arguably the greatest use of building a character when the actor's not available and you're doing what you can with the footage you've already got. I thought they did a great job here with that. Will Ospreay turned up at the Death Riders dojo. He's still not cleared, but he is going to fly to Japan for his United Empire friends regardless. And Mox was so full of giddy energy that he just did not know what to do with it and ended up just giving Pac a little tickle on the belly. It's just like the amount of posters seen from that. There's so many people just being like, how could you not love this man? And immediately I just wanted it gift. So many people were posting it. Good to know that I wasn't the only person who was just like, that was amazing. Just seeing such a masculine character just be so full of giddy energy that he does not know what to do and ends up tickling this person who's meant to be acting really hard and dangerous. Mott did a whole thing about having to get rid of the mental side that's causing Will so many problems. And then it just revealed to Will, we're not going to be training in a ring. Instead, you'll be training with shirtless Claudio in our grubby little hallway by a big bin. Right, there we go, end of segment. He goes to the camera all serious, being like, oh, yeah, you're not allowed to see what happens next. But I know what happens next. Two topless men start grappling at each other. I don't need to... Moxie's right, I don't need to see this. It's fine. I don't need to see them practicing serious grapples in a dirty hallway by a bin. He's right. We move on. It's what Will looks like afterwards that's most important. Renee backstage with Jericho talking about Ricochet stealing his move and calling it the Rico Salt. I assume this is arguably the segment that has the most carryover for the rest of the shows this week, as I think this is where Renee loses her voice. Shouting for Jericho to look out as the demand jumped and tossed Chris into the conveniently placed box they decided to conduct the interview in front of. Jericho saying, eat shit, bald, were the aggravating words. And then Ricochet just showing off doing a moonsault, just there over there as it faking out doing the Rico Salt. Then later in the show, Renee, having lost her voice, had a quick bit with the Ops. Samoa Joe ran through the crew in a new roundup, contradicting his Collision self by saying that positions in the stable are now open, when the whole point about Bo is that they were closed. That was the teasing. Reminded Will Ospreay that they were the ones who saved him from the Death Riders back when, and suddenly we're building up two teams when there's a double or nothing pay-per-view on the horizon. Weirdly, I'd normally get a bit like, if you're building up for blood and guts in this kind of way, but Anarchy in the Arena is always so fun. Don't really mind. I don't really mind with it. It's always such a fun match. I've not gone back and rewatched last year's, but last year's Anarchy in the Arena was one of those matches that I did end up describing to some of my non-wrestling fan friends. I was just watching it just being like, surely this is just fun for everybody? It's just fun for all ages, right? It's for every demographic. This is just pure fun. Also helps that my friends are of a certain generation, so when I told them they played bodies hitting the floor for like the first 20 minutes, they fully understood what I meant when I said best match ever. Brawling Birds versus Jobbers, Emily and Jordan. I've noted down the jobber names this week. I'm improving. I'm improving as a wrestling notes-taking guy. Jimmy Hayter back after taking a knock at the pay-per-view. Kudos to Emily for getting a clap going as Hayter beat up her tag partner. A quick wee brawling fun for the Birds being back together. Double lariat. Their two Birds one-stone finisher, and we are out of here. You got to get up that ramp and you got to show off all of Swerve's segment. The International Championship. Always a good day when Kazuchika Okada is defending on television versus Ace Austin, and quite the pop for the coin drop in Virginia. They were very excited to watch some Kazu. Really enjoyed Ace Austin's apron one-arm handstand. That usually helps him dodge the opponent, but Okada was so impressed he just stood back and admired the handstand in awe and applauded. Like, whoa, isn't that amazing? He's somebody who's so good at both coming across as the no emotion, super serious, but then can just slot straight into unfiltered childish joy. Like, he can do both sides so well. Then during the ad break, Okada high-fived a kid at ringside to a loud cheer, so he immediately went over to Don Callis and high-fived him too so he could get booed instead. Such Such great quick thinking. Back from break with the middle finger and camera pan. I'm sure those two things were intended and planned together. Ace Austin finally got his momentum, that one-arm handstand working the second time. Fosbury flop high jump out onto the champion, and then back in the ring for more jumpy athleticism. That's my quick way of not noting down everything he did. Fair to say Ace's top rope leg drop is a fair bit better than John Cena's. Classic Okada final stretch counterculture, jumpy, springy Austin finally met with a dropkick. Great sequence after Ace ducked the Rainmaker, but after the next dropkick the Don Callis champion wasn't messing. Spinning tombstone and Rainmaker for the win. A decent, strong enough title defense for Okada, then outwalked Takeshita. Now he's the one getting paid the big bucks to just pose all smug and chat shit on the ramp. I do like that the stuff that used to be Okada's bit, Takeshita is now doing it to mock him. Cope and Christian versus Trent and Rocky. FTR worked distraction ringside at the commentary desk for the old Roppongi duo to take advantage, but then Kyle O'Reilly, Roddy Strong and a popcorn-eating Orange Cassidy popped up behind the barricade, a wee little revenge for the champions being dicks on Collision. Smashed the popcorn over Stokes' bald head before brawling the champions out the arena and gave us a standard tag match. After the Don Callis men just worked over Cage's injured hand, Copeland got the hot tag and beat them both up. This is where I realised the men I was watching were all just wearing a lot of black. They're serious men, damn it, all serious in their all black ring gear. Did enjoy the pop-up spear with Christian being surprising one to make that jump. We then got Cope wearing the popcorn bucket as a hat, as I have another realisation that has AEW always been about silly hats. I can remember the MJF party hat, Penta leprechaun hat, and I'm sure there's other... Jake Hager, his whole gimmick was about liking a hat. AEW has a very silly side too. The actual post-match note was Cope submitting Trent with a bar across his mouth so the crowd didn't pop for him saying I quit because he couldn't understand the bugger because he was going like you can't do it. I just tried it right now. I just put my hand sideways across my mouth. I couldn't do it. It's not possible. Before that match, Serious Adam and Christian Cage were backstage amongst the chair storage with Renee. She had her voice at that point. A quick accepting of FTR's I quit match stipulation. And after the match, FTR challenged the conglomeration to a trios championship match next week on Dynamite, with Tommaso Ciampa walking into frame as a third man. He ate a piece of popcorn off of Stokes' beard, which the short man found a little odd. Ciampa is just, there's just something off about him. He's just a little strange. And I like how instead of showing that in matches or anything, he's just socially being a bit weird. Like if someone did that to you in real life, you'd be like, something wrong with you. You're a little bit odd. And that's the vibe he's going for. So I guess to hopefully fold back into the ring of him being dangerous and unpredictable, outside of the ring he does just weird, no, he does slightly socially awkward things. Like, it's nothing over the top or anything. It's just a little strange. The AEW Women's Tag Team Championships, Divine Dominion, Megan Bayne and Lena Cross versus Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida, a damn good women's tag title match. All four just went at each other and it was right lovely to watch. A great reaction to Shida tagging in Stat and just suplexing her into Bayne without consent. That will come up on Collision. Just using the woman like a tool, and it just led to poor Chris getting beaten up by the tall women 2-on-1. The hot tag crawl after the break cut off by Big Bayne. Stat really in the hot water having to fend off for herself, doing so with a really impressive head scissors to both Divine baddies. Hot tags instead happened for both teams simultaneously. Not ideal with Stat needing recovery time, so now it was Shida fending both champions off 2-on-1. Led to a nice little spot with both women sat by the apron and hit with a Hikaru charging knee. The Dominion women are a far better unit, an actual team with Shida and Stat not really together till the final flow. Stat's 450 out of both tall women was great, also got to look great whenever she was having to fend off the handicap as well during the match. Running Bayne kicked into a cross suplex, looked so good and took out Chris. Shida hoisted up and slammed down for the win. Basically Shida facing the consequences of her actions. And we get a little bit of a reverberation, a ripple effect of that on Collision, with Shida doing the best to kind of fix things, or try and get her way again. We'll find out properly which on Dynamite next week, which we'll talk about when we get to Collision. Roosh, he also had a jobber match against Jobber Steven. AEW realising that they've got something in Roosh. Sure, it's just a coincidental timing with Andrade coming back and killing it. The man a tad more intense than his Collision jobber match, straight to the outside and launched the poor jobber into the barricade. Mess with the bull, you get the horns. Corner drop kick to a poor seated man. Nothing fancy, over nice and quick. Grabbed the mic, cut his catchphrase. The crowd enjoyed saying it with him. Like, absolutely fine penultimate segment. I personally like the enhancement matches where they do something like this, where they are actually enhancing the talent you see. It's the purpose of them. I feel like the Sky Blue one on Collision had the same effect. It effectively did make her feel like a bigger deal. The same here with Roosh. I've definitely seen these kind of matches in the past be used as time filler or whatever, but it's felt like AEW's way of incorporating them, especially within this past year, has done a much better job of genuinely enhancing the talent, rather than just being a jobber match to maybe try and get some moves over or just to fill time and include a character they wanted to feature. It's less about that now. It generally is about showcasing and enhancing. Like Brody King's another great example where just having him on the show, destroying a jobber in no time at all, does so much for him, far more than him either just having a quick promo segment or something ever would. And onto the main event. Speaking of Brody King, the AEW Championship, Darby Allin versus Brody King, quickfire entrances, wasting no time. Commentary did a good job explaining that as both men being so amped and were just heated for the match, and not because they were kind of short on time, so I just wanted to get straight to it. fuck ice during the face-to-face and respectful handshake, but these two were not messing about with any form of slow start. Darby immediately charged with a corner dropkick and Brody immediately answered that, just going for it himself. Hilarious Allin bump with him going for a dive and just bouncing off Big Brody's body. I like how fuck ice has just become a part of the atmosphere during King's matches, just like a part of his woof woof barking that everybody does as well. And returned from breaking pure Darby style, a big old Brody chopped to a top rope sat wee boy, who just toppled backwards overhead. King did some announced death redecorating, the logo protector thing set up like a table on the barricade. Darby jumped onto Brody's back, just trying to sleeper him, but the big man jumped them both into the protector and breaking it. In his redecorating, the announced death had been cleared, so up onto it we get for the next spot. Teased repeating the sleeper spot from the Battle Royal a few years ago, instead flowed into a table no breaky code red onto the desk. Darby hobbling on one leg finally got his dive after as well. It always feels far more painful when the table doesn't break. Well, I don't actually know what the pain difference is, but as a viewer, when the table doesn't break, it's like, oh, that feels like it was painful. But you also don't get the cathartic thing break, explodey, yay. Which I guess is the bigger reason to do the spot. And man, the reactions Brody got by just chopping and clubbing Darby to stop the coffin drop. I love the way his lariat looks too, like he's clubbing with it as well. I was most excited for Ragdoll Darby Allin getting tossed about by Brody, and they did not disappoint. King just tossed Allin over the top rope right onto the cameramen. Really love that as like a planned little spot. In trying to stop Brody dragging him, the wee man held onto the entranceway ringside mat and ended up exposing the concrete, setting up a great barricade charge with Brody cannonballing on through. I say great, it was just a different barricade and a different camera angle to film it from than usual, and I guess that's what it takes to please me. You do a corner barricade charge, if you do it in the normal location, I'd like it, yay, but I don't think I could have the same reaction that I had to watching this one, and all they did was film it in a more inventive way at the different barricade, and that was enough to get me. Suplex the Darby onto the concrete tees, but it were Brody who took the barrel bomb back bump onto it with a thud. Coffin drop from Crazy Darby with such an audible thud thanks to those ring mics. Brody just beat the count, and no hesitation for champion Darby Allin and his 2 coffin drops for the win. Posing for quite a while after, as I realised they might have ended a little early. Kevin Knight watching on from tier 2 in the crowd with his TNT championship as Darby posed at him. They had shown Kevin Knight during the match as well watching it, and I always find it just weird and awkward. Like, you're telling me that Kevin Knight's just standing in the hallway with nobody else in it at all, just watching it and putting faces, and like a thinking pose with his hands, like, but he's putting those faces for nobody. Unless, because in AEW the camera crews and things do exist, which is a really weird quirk about WWE's filming, where they're meant to be like invisible cameras, but sometimes it's not all the time that they're meant to be invisible cameras. It's like a really weird thing. In AEW's world, they made it overt. The cameras are there. We all know they're there. The people who are being filmed know they're there, which means it's almost like a booked thing for the show, where Kevin Knight turns up because he's been told this is what you'll be doing during the main event. So there's a TV set up for you to watch it. So he's putting faces like a YouTube reactor. I guess that's what's essentially happening here. There are multiple things in wrestling where it's kind of dangerous to think about it. Just don't think about it. Just move on. It's like the commentary tells you, oh, Kevin Knight's watching this backstage, and you see him doing it. You're like, oh, that's what he's doing. Don't think about it any more than that. Don't question the environment. Don't question, wait a second. There's a whole crew set up just for this. And if he's there reacting, why isn't he there in the bottom corner? Put him in front of a green screen. Have him there the whole time in the bottom left corner of the screen, putting faces at everything. Anyway, yeah, the match was great. I got distracted. Yeah, I really enjoyed that main event. It's been, ever since Darby Allin's been going for the title, obviously winning against MJF, and then we've had the defences as well. He's had such an incredible string of main events. A real drive to the wheels fall off style of reign was absolutely perfect for Darby Allin. Before he became champion, I was questioning whether they would bring up his TNT Championship run and how that was the same thing. But really, they've just used that TNT Championship run as a template to just do this one here, because he did the exact same thing back then. And then that run lasted like a month, because ultimately he faced Samoa Joe. And I don't need to tell you the rest of it. If you weren't watching AEW at that point, Darby Allin basically did this, and then on week like 4, Samoa Joe turned up, and everyone went, oh well, oh well, it's been a good run, Darby. We all had fun. It's time to pack it up. It's all good. So as great as this is, it's a reign that is burning real bright, which means it's meant to burn for a much shorter amount of time. What they've decided that short amount of time is, I don't know. Could it just be straight to Double or Nothing? But I also like the twist of really burning it so bright that you believe it can't possibly go past Double or Nothing, and then you use that to swerve us again. So yeah, I'm still assuming it's MJF because no one else is really revealing themselves as the possible challenger. The story is MJF doing what he can to become number 1 contender for for the championship. There's no other real story being built for it, so I feel like it has to be that. But we've got time. We'll figure it out eventually. Anyway, let's go to that place that I've definitely heard of. Peoria, Illinois. Peoria, Illinois. I've done both pronunciations of which I've gambled with today. If it's a third one, do let me know. Just make sure to like enunciate it in the way that you type it at me. I don't know what to call this place. For Collision, and we started off with a big 10-man party, 5 athletic lads to fly against 5 bruisers just out to beat the shit out of you. Death Riders versus Top Flight and the Rascalz. So let's play a little clip from that match and let's jump on over.
With a head of steam! Oh my God! And now to the brutalizer on Darius Martin. Well, they've got to protect, make sure no one gets in to break this up. And that's it! This one's over!
And you know what? As multi-man party matches go, this one had such an entertaining emping flow. The pre-ad break, everyone in the pool, but it was so much fun. From one that again launched over the announce desk to Darius Martin swinging around the ring post for a wee little kick that neither swung enough around or hit enough hard enough on the kick, so it kind of just really did feel like kids on the playground just having a bit of fun, which is also a vibe I enjoy in wrestling. More tag team oriented fun times once we returned from the break. Like, hey, you've got Top Flight, let them be flying. The Rascalz tried to numbers game Castagnoli. JV's assisted backflip 450 dropkick is so cool, and I don't know how else to describe it. His friends help him do a 450 backflip dropkick. What else is going on here? Then in came the dogs to just clobber them down. Death Riders in after, now everyone out of the pool, till poor Darius Martin was in the ring by himself. Such a fun lightning pace, packed with his rope running supercharged lariat for the win. Like a really fun party tag here, and this really did set the tone for the rest of the show, where we got some character stuff, but mostly it was just great wrestling match after great wrestling match, with none of the matches being absolutely spectacular. Oh my god, because that was really safe for the Darby Allin Brody King match. It was a night of solid wrestling that was paced really well, so I just left it, happily entertained. I was nice and full of my wrestling, nom nom nom. Like, again, sometimes AEW does this where they put out a Collision and it just flies by, you enjoy it. You look at it after and like, they didn't do anything special. Like, they just put on a solid wrestling show in terms of looking back on it and what made it so great. Well, they did put John Moxley on commentary, and that does cheer me up every time. And they did have an absolutely silly mid-card tag, which we'll get to in a second. But I do love that. Also, we went straight from match 1 into match 2 without any time for me to do other notes, because normally the reason I put the other notes after the first match is normally after the first match there is like a backstage bit, but on here, this Collision, I went straight into the second match, which had its own video, so technically I guess that counts. But anyway, the AEW National Championship, Jack Perry versus Mascara Dorada. We got a wee red video of Jurassic Express. I love the attempted cool vibe, because they arguably achieved it, just within the vision of children. This screamed what children think is cool. Screamed what children think an adult should act like. The whole video, like, I don't care, I'll say the naughty words. I don't care, I'll beat everyone. And when we're peeing, I'll try and look at my dinosaur friends Willy. Yeah, because we don't obey the rules. Yeah. It's just so silly and very childish. Maybe that is Jungle Jack Perry's lane, where he is the greatest wrestler ever if you're single digit age. Maybe up to 12. I don't know what age you reach where you stop being silly and start being embarrassed when girls look at you when you be silly. I don't know when that starts to happen, that reaction. A fan heckled, "You've still got it, Jack," after some successful wrestle times, to which the Jungle Man responded, "I'm only 28. What do you mean I've still got it?" It got a chuckle, and the crowd seemed to be in all happy clappy mood after for Dorado's Lucha Springs. One mighty destroyer onto the barricade before the break. AEW just aren't resting right now. Everyone is out there in every match like they're trying to make a point. After the break for the quicker pace, corner running backflip kinda onto Dorado's back, but they were trying to include it in a quick flash sequence this time, so like harder difficulty and all that. Doesn't matter that you didn't get the full rotation, whatever, it happens. And a Mexican code red near full fun. A lovely quick SIE moonsault from Perry. Missed the man doing this sort of stuff during his kinda disappointing baddie run. I feel like he clicks far better as the talented plucky babyface. And bloody hell, no idea how to describe. Jack sat up on Dorada's shoulders, then dropped forward and caught into a neckbreaker. I mean, I guess I have some idea how to describe it, but that didn't do it any credence. It looked amazing. Like, well done, lads. Dorado got his full flow with 450 and all, with a great response to the kick out. Second match in a row with the crowd fully invested. Equals air, let's go. Always signals a fail. Perry off the top with a flying nothing, caught by Stiffney and face planting a razor's edge. Like, Dorado is so innovative, I just don't know how to describe what he's doing. Lucha on the top rope, shooting star met by jungle knees, back up top with a head scissors, down rolled into a pin for a Jungle Man win. Goody Jack held his opponent's arm in the air after, because he's such a honourable champion. I don't know what the AEW National Championship is in terms of like its place in the AEW, because can see the TNT Championship building new stars, testing out guys who could possibly go to the main event, giving a character a kind of needed display, or kind of like a way to honour somebody like they did with Mark Briscoe. Then there's the Continental one, which for a little bit I wasn't quite sure, but I feel like Mox has really given that a really strong identity which you can take forwards. The International Championship feels like it's Okada's belt, kind of like TBS one was for Mercedes. Okada's got that similar feeling with the International Championship right now. Like, it gives Okada a championship and makes him feel like a big deal. Maybe he's going to pass it on to Takeshita. Maybe that's when that moves on. But that kind of feels like its purpose right now. It did wonders for Orange Cassidy as well. But the National Championship feels so strange because it's absolutely screamed that they created a title for Bobby Lashley. Then he gets injured. They give it to Ricochet. The plan might have been to give it to Ricochet anyway, so that he's not giving it to Bobby immediately. Then Bobby goes and wins it. But now it's transitioned into Jungle Jack, and it feels like they're trying to find some form of identity to it. At the moment, it feels like title for almost like youngest prospects. People who aren't being tested to be in the main event, they can have a little title on here. Like, it's almost like a lower card belt. I don't really know what the purpose and place for it is. I will say, though, this feels almost the most stable Jack's character has been in quite a long time. So it's helping him do that. It's helping him discover his character. Maybe that's the best way to put it, actually. It's a championship you can win in helping you discover your character. The TNT Championship is a lot more when you've kind of like, no, we're testing you out as a proper future lad now. But the National one is kind of where you're floating about a bit. Like, you need to find ground somehow. I don't know. It's because I don't know what it is. I'm throwing stuff out there. Anyway, on to the other notes. In the hallway with Renee, who days later has no voice still. Stat had none of Shida's nonsense and just pushed her against a wall, all violent and angry. Told her off for the suplex spot, with Shida telling her how sorry she is. Later in the show, the duo with Hardy Cameron and Mina Shakawa, with Renee in the middle, to apologise to Chris. Shida's got her another tag match against those two. When low confidence Hardy was there still taking umbrage with Shida's disrespect, Shida like, you're not even worthy to touch my kendo stick. And I think she just straight up called her a big titty girl in Japanese. Like, I don't know, kono wa no mi senaga is what I thought she said. And I'm not great at Japanese, but I think that's what that means. Don't quote me on it. I think that's what she said. I think that's what that means. So just don't quote me on it. Tony Schiavone given a second to have a moment talking about Rebel's terminal ALS diagnosis. I mentioned how many fans had bought signs for her tonight as well. Just a somber moment just to give their regards to her in a really shitty situation. The tall tag team champions were backstage with Lexi Nair, telling her that no one in the women's division has a prayer, all confident with Alina Cross saying their challengers might as well stop trying. Then on to the absolute silly, ooh yeah, this is the shit. The conglomeration versus MXMTV. You take your barrel-chested Ishii Mark Davies dreams and you give me these 6 men being all silly. Like, I love this stuff. If you don't know, I used to write for a site called Laws of Pain / Wrestling Headlines, and me and Sam Brown of Sam Brown's AEW Match Guide, every single year we would do like a top 5 matches of the week for the G1 Climax, basically being like, if you don't have enough time to watch the whole tournament, here's 5 matches you should definitely check out, and the two of us would recommend matches. These are the 5 best matches of the week, and there were so many matches throughout the entire week, picking 5 was often quite difficult, so you always had a really strong list of 5 matches. But every single year, I made sure that I would do my best to get at least one Toru Yano match onto my list of 5 on one of the weeks. I would do it. And I remember the year that we invited Jeremy Donovan to join doing it with us, when I pushed Toru Yano to be on the list one week, oh, he had none of it. Like, oh, what are you doing, Matt? What are you doing, him? What are you doing? Every year. And I did it. Well, I'll be honest, 2018 was piss easy, because Toru Yano had an absolutely incredible Kurokan Hall duo against like Zack Sabre Jr., then Kota Ibushi. Both of those matches are so fun. Some years it wasn't difficult. Some years it was difficult as hell. And I regretted making it a long-term bit that I did. Point being, I really do value comedy wrestling. I love me some shitty shit like this. Give me some stupid fun in the middle of the card. I don't want it to be all serious or all super athletic. Give me this. Like, yes, I absolutely love this. Just time for a bit of nonsense fun. Mansoor took one O'Reilly kick and tagged right back out. Madden then also didn't enjoy the kick, but that's why Johnny's there. That's why he's on the team. And the duo did a dive fake out instead posing, and of course Orange Cassidy got in on it too. Hilarious call for the surely impossible move, Double Doomsday, with both Mansoor and Johnny climbing to a corner. I mean, the timing would have to be spectacularly perfect. Like, we're talking Cirque du Soleil shit to be able to pull off a Double Doomsday from 2 different corners. Also, Kaiju Cassidy up on Roddy's strong shoulders to chokeslam Mansoor off a corner to the outside. Lazy elbow onto Johnny for the win. Totally silly nonsense, loved every second. And immediately tonally countered by Tommaso Ciampa, all serious, in another of his oversized jackets, tapping his wrist for TikTok. That's the sound of your trio's life running out. I wasn't a massive fan of Dexter Season 5. Immediate drop off. The TBS Championship, Willow versus Anna Jay. Another name, Another notch in the belt, another wearing title defence for Nightingale. Nigel and commentary talking about how eventually her luck is going to run out. But hey, I was just happy to watch the woman wrestle, not covered in tape. A long while since we've seen Anna Jay wrestle. Willow even tried to amp her up with a, "This is meant to be your comeback, come on, show me the fire." Full chance for Willow during Anna's first flow. Delightful little ad break cannonball off the apron, and happy Willow making the hand heart with a ringside fan. A match that told the story of a challenger struggling to find that fire. Kind of found it in the second half a bit. Also during the ad break, Willow went to duck her kick and ended up just ducking her face right into Anna's boot. Like, do you need a second to recover? Suck it. Bad luck, we're back on air in 5 seconds. Or like Willow forced to be professional in a, "Oh fuck, okay." Like, luckily she was like alright to stay composed or whatever. And in this match, even after the break, Willow had so much of the offense. Not a bad thing to have your champion wrestle like she is one, but I just found that somewhat surprising, especially if the story is they're showing the wear and tear, and here she felt so dominant. Like, they very much focused on that story of Anna Jay was struggling to find her fire. She had moments, she had sparks, but Willow was on top for most of the match. It was very much like she was fighting a tide. And I enjoyed the setup for the powerbomb in the end too. Willow against the ropes, Anna ran at her, and Nightingale just ducked and gut-wrenched the woman up. Perfectly fine little title match. It's another notch on the belt. These are needed as they're telling that story. And we'll see if they were doing that little story for Anna for purely just this title match, or were they actually telling a story with her here? Because they've not really featured her at all, and it's over 100 days I think since she last wrestled on telly. The Death Riders, Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta versus Juice Robinson and Ace Austin of the Bang Bang Gang. More Death Rider times, just this time with Austin dip dive and dodging out the way. Mox and commentary always a delight. The man had a wee happy chuckle watching Marina and Garcia deliver cheaty punches and kicks around ringside to Austin. "We want Juice" and "Refuse suck" from the crowd as Ace ate all the baddie stompy heat. Eventually the Juice was indeed set loose. Hot tag made and fire flowed. So many near falls for the man too. Yuta cut open during the action to Mox's delight. So much hair blood that had to close his eyes for most of the closing minutes. Almost just waiting for the Death Rider amp up, especially with Wheater's yell after he wiped his blood across his chest like he's ready for war. Producers caught him with the stiff punch and whatever his finish was called for the win, like it's the lift up and fall flat forwards, whatever that's called. Post-match stompy times and the Guns made their return. The Bang Bang Gang at 4/5 strength. Shafir, the one that needed to be held back, all furious. And Sky Blue got our only one enhancement match this week on Collision with a callback for Nixie against Nixie XS. Immediately took a kick to the face, tangled up and tapped out. We know it did its job. It did its job. And the main event for the TNT Championship, Kevin Knight versus Hook. A main event spotlight title defense ahead of Wednesday's big AEW Championship match with Darby. Shibata ringside running amok, cutting Knight off whenever he was about to take fly or hit momentum flow. Our champion Kevin still got enough to fly around though. Unfortunately, Hook not good enough to capitalise off Katsuyori's distractions. In the end, a mighty UFO for the win and a full minute or so, all happy, celebrating afterwards. Like, it hit me here as well. Like, they did the same on Dynamite. Like, the celebration afterwards was actually quite long. Like, are they making sure they've got enough time to pose and run through the next card after their main events? Is this like a new structure for it, where we actually get to bask in their wins? Especially if we've got two goody babyface champions, where we do actually want to bask and spend a bit of time in their victory afterwards. Lets you soak it in a bit rather than just immediately going off air. Because that is a viewer thing. If you go off air too early, you've still got that emotion with you, but now there's like carrying it into whatever starts airing next. Like, it's really strange. But if you actually give them a minute or so, long enough for you to go, "Oh, I've had enough now." Like, okay, you can stop now. I've had enough of the back and forth posing. Kevin Knight can only pull so many thinking faces at, at the guy. Like, it's fine. Anyway, that does bring me to the end of this week's reviews. I honestly thought this might end up being like a really short one because I thought I didn't have enough to say, but you know, no, it's alright. It's alright. It's turned out to be in exactly the same length as normal. so well done me. I don't normally applaud myself. It feels weird. Anyway, I'll be back this time next week to talk about Dynamite and Collision. What do you think about Darby's title reign so far? Am I also completely missing another challenger that might be setting up? Is it just going to be MJF? And we're going to get him getting closer and closer to realising what he has to offer. And are you enjoying Darby Allin's reign as much as I am? It feels like it's pretty unanimous. Like, it feels like that the opinion is that AEW has just been on such a roll. Really feels like it's been since the C2, and it's just been constant ever since. I was enjoying it solidly before then, but I would see like other people maybe moaning a bit more, being on and off it throughout like the late summer and up through the autumn. But now it just feels like it's nothing but positive reception. Like, I thought my honeymoon period was going to wear off, but then they just got better and more consistent. So it's just like, this show's just been a blast to do so far. Like, hey, doing this means I'll also be here for the shit times. But no, currently I'm here for a good year. I got really lucky with my decision to jump over. I mean, I say lucky. When one company's being shit, it makes sense for you to like throw your best balls. Best balls? No. Throw your best hand? That's what it's called. What do you call when you throw a good ball in baseball? Do you throw the ball good or throw your hand good? I don't do baseball, but I decided to do metaphor. I decided now was the time. I'm going to attempt a baseball metaphor. I'm sure they're there going, make sure you throw those balls good, kid. That's my leaving sentiment. How do you amp somebody up in baseball without it sounding weird? Anyway, I'll be back this time this week to talk about Dynamite and Collision. As always, respond in any form, any manner, always appreciated, never take it for granted. I'll be back this time this week. So with that, I bid you all adieu. Ta-va. Adios.